On to the next session of today's program, and this topic is a very interesting topic, especially for people who have the misconception of the coloring effect on UPVC, and I've always been curious to know how you can have an architectural effect on UPVC. And to break the chain there, we have a very eminent representative from the UPVC industry, a well-known personality. He is none other than Mr. Ashim Chugh. He is the director of LGF Sysmac India Private Limited, and he would be talking about architectural paints for UPVC. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Ashim Chugh from LGF Sysmac. I think we could do a little much better. I know lunch is on the way. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ashim Chugh from LGF Sysmac.
It has been an honor to actually hear distinguished speakers on an important topic called the UPVC profile, which has become the need of the hour for the fenestration industry. And I'm quite overwhelmed by the kind of response that we have received today. The kind of audience that we have has been quite patient in listening to the various sessions. And I hope you can give me a patient hearing as well. Good afternoon, friends and colleagues. And I would take this opportunity especially to thank the organizers, especially Ahad and Arvind, for giving me the platform to introduce a whole new dimension to the fenestration industry called architectural paints for UPVC profiles, or decorative effects for UPVC profiles, as you may say. It's been a decade since LGF Sysmac came into existence, and has been supplying world-class products for the aluminum and UPVC industry. These products are ranging from aluminum and UPVC fabrication machinery to thermal break insulating lines to architectural hardware for doors and windows. And now we've recently collaborated with one of the major giants in the world called Zobel, Germany. They manufacture paints for UPVC profiles. I hope that these paints would not only provide a new dimension to the UPVC industry aesthetically, but also commercially and technically. So for those if it's the first time that we're hearing about architectural paints, I would like you to first go through a small video presentation which will kind of introduce the entire concept for paints, and then probably we can go ahead with the presentation. So let me just take you forward with the video presentation that I have.
With Zowoplast 1C PUR coating, finishing your project is quick and easy. Zobel is committed to producing Zowoplast products that are both weather resistant and cost efficient. More importantly, since all Zowoplast products are water-based, they're green and environmentally friendly. In the following video, you'll learn how to achieve the best color results from our Zowoplast products. Besides application with a brush or roll, Zowoplast can be applied with a variety of spraying techniques. Typical methods are airless and air-supported airless spraying, or application with a pressure-fed gun. Before beginning the application process, with air-supported airless spraying, for example, pause to ensure that the atomizing air pressure on your paint sprayer is set between 0.8 and 1.5 bar, or 12 to 22 pounds per square inch PSI. Depending on the speed of your sprayer, change its settings so that the material is diffused between 50 to 80 bar, or between 725 to 1160 pounds per square inch PSI. A variety of different tools and methods may be used to fill your paint sprayer. A filling bucket, such as the one shown here, is one option. Activate a ventilation system prior to coating. The typical suction performance of a spray wall is approximately 5,000 cubic meters per hour. For example, in an area of 250 cubic meters, approximately 8,800 cubic feet, the air change rate will be 20. This means that during the course of an hour, the air in the room will be replenished 20 times. Make sure the nozzle of the painter sprayer is clean. The sprayer. The radius of sprayed paint should have the shape of an elongated oval. If necessary, readjust the atomizing air until this shape is achieved. Use compressed air to remove loose particles and dirt. Remove protective film completely from the surface to be painted. Apply Zovoplast 1120 Hydro Cleaner and thoroughly clean and dry the surface, changing the drying rag often. Since it is water-based, Zovoplast 1120 Hydro Cleaner is an environmentally friendly or green product. A carefully chosen list of ingredients ensures excellent cleaning results. Surface cleaning is a breeze. Dust, release agent residues, and other spray particles don't stand a chance. Paint can be applied directly without pre-misting. Use a paint measuring tool to determine the thickness of the wet paint. The paint thickness should be at least 4 to 5 mils or approximately 125 microns. When adding more paint to the sprayer, make sure dirt that may be on the removable top of the container does not fall into the sprayer's paint compartment. Applying paint with a gravity-fed spray gun may take longer than when using air-supported airless spraying, such as air mix. The needle size of the spray gun should be between 1.5 and 2.0 millimeters or 0.06 and 0.08 inches. After a brief ventilation period, all Zovoplast applications can be force dried. The Halo Dry system can greatly reduce drying time. At room temperature, drying will normally take a few hours. When using Zovo's Halo Dry, you can expect your project to be dry in under 15 minutes.
Those who did not know about this concept and would be useful. So starting off with the presentation, UPVC paints, as you can see on the slide, they come in 4 types of segments, starting from colored opaque shades to colored opaque shades with textured effect. Then we've got metallic colors and we've got metallic colors with textured effect. So all these segments of paints are available in UPVC architectural paints, and we can supply any RAL shade color which is available in the market. As you would have seen in the video, the pre-cleaning treatment has to be done by a hydro cleaner, which is a green product and it's water-based. So it's not hazardous and it's inflammable. For all the segment of colors, be it opaque shades or metallic, we need to do a cleaning. It's not a pre-treatment, but it's just a cleaning with the help of a Scotch-Brite or a paper, a hard paper where you can clean the profiles, and then you can coat the surface directly with the paint. So as you can see, the final coating has to be done after the hydro cleaner has been applied. So the basic need for applying the hydro cleaner is more related to remove the dust, the glue residues on the profiles, and any other dust particle that might be chipped onto the profile before the painting has to be done. Comparing with foil lamination and co-extrusion, it's a very low input, easy process, and it's equally competitive in price as well. Advantages of single component water-based lacquers. First of all, I'd like to emphasize here is that the paints that Zoval is supplying are all single component water-based paints, which means that the paints have to be applied only one time onto the profile, as compared to other products wherein you might require a double-side coating. So Zoval has come up with this technology where painting has to be done only one time once the hydro cleaner has been used onto the profile. So it's an eco-friendly green product, it's easy to handle, there's no pot life, and it's low solvent content and mild in odor. It's polyurethane technology for strong adhesion, extreme abrasion resistance. We've got all test reports and certificates to certify what we say. Excellent weather resistance, particularly resistance against usual household chemicals and environmental influences, which means that Zobel has tested its products to household chemicals and environmental influences, wherein you can use these products in commercial projects like hospitals and hotels, etc. As you can see, Zobel Plus passes the acid test with flying colors. It provides a surface coating which is highly resistant against scratching and weathering, and therefore protects the surface. Application modes. In the video you would have seen that the application mode was manual through a manual spray gun, whereas we've got automatic machines wherein in case of high productions one can use those automatic spraying machines through a conveyor belt system where the profiles pass through the conveyor and automatic spraying happens onto the profile. So it all depends whether you need to use an automatic spraying machine. To start up you can use a manual spray gun, and it's a very easy process to do. There are also possibilities to use a brush or a roll in case one needs to repair windows. As in the case of Indian conditions, we find a lot of scratches happening on windows when they're transported to sites. So there's always a concern that I've kind of heard from a lot of industry members in the industry, that the major concern is that once we transport windows onto the sites, and windows are the first things which get installed before a building starts in terms of interior decoration. So you always find a lot of scratches happening on windows. So there are measures to overcome that through the maintenance kit that we have in Zobel, wherein you can get the same finish as you would have painted the window in the factory. Coming to the paints that we have, the various categories. The first one comes as a single opaque color shade called the 14501 CPUR. It's a water-based paint. Again, it's environmental friendly. Single layer coating. It's designed for the Zovosan color mixing system. Now, the Zovosan color mixing system is an automatic mixing station that has been installed at our facility in New Delhi, wherein we are able to produce paints to any level of color that you may want and at any level of quantity that one might require for its project. The biggest advantage of the Zovosan color mixing system that we have is that this system is able to reproduce colors at the same level and at the same time, which one would not need on any of, for example, their projects. For example, if you're doing a project with one color and after 2 months you would need the same color, you get the same finish with this color mixing system that we have. Available in RAL colors and special tones. We have gloss and matte finish which is available. The recommended wet film thickness is 125 to 150 microns. The minimum wet film thickness that we recommend is 70 microns, which needs to be there on the profile surface when a surface is being painted to have a good adhesion. But the ideal is 125 to 150 microns. If necessary, dilutable with up to 3% water, by which we mean that there are certain levels of temperatures which one needs to maintain while doing painting. We recommend 50% of humidity and about 25 degrees of temperature. However, in case the humidity levels are low, one can always dilute the paint with 3% of water to ensure that the right kind of humidity is maintained and you get a good surface coating. Coming to the hydro cleaner, it's a water-based cleaning agent to prepare the UPVC profiles and other components for coating with the single layer coatings that we have. Has good cleaning properties, excellent degreasing efficiency, easy handling. No primer is necessary. User and environment friendly since it's water based, it's non-hazardous and does not have any solvent. The 1490 is the single layer opaque shade for textured finish. Again, all the qualities remain the same as that of a normal opaque shade. as we discussed prior. Similarly, we've got the 1480, which is a metallic single layer coating paint. All properties again remain the same. And we have, and the last segment is the 1491 metallic single layer with textured effect. Now the pre-treatment of the substrate has to be done, which is very important to have a good surface finish and an adhesion, because the hydro cleaner which we use, it creates a slight anti-static effect for a better coating result. As you can see, the advantages. It removes the entire adhesive residues, release agents and dirts and dust. It coats the surface and attracts less dust. Freshly coated surface attracts less dust particles. It provides excellent adhesion promotion between substrate and coating. The drying is very important. At ambient room temperature, it becomes touch-proof after 10 hours. It becomes dust-proof after 1 hour. So it's important that we paint in a dust-free environment where we can avoid minimum dust particles coming in once the spraying process is being done. So 1 hour to have a dust-free profile, 10 hours to have a touch-proof, and thoroughly dries overnight. Whereas if you use a forced drying system that we saw in the video presentation, if you do it with an irradiation drying, it dries up within 10 minutes and the goods are good for transportation. So it all depends on the kind of production that we're looking at. If the production levels are high, we can always recommend an irradiation drying system. If the production levels are low, it's a slow startup process, then we can always have it dried up overnight. As you can see, the temperature stability, now this is in case when profiles are being coated in assembly lines and then we manufacture the windows. So the picture below, as you can see, is at times when you need to weld the window to make a window or a frame. Welding happens at 250 degrees Celsius, and then you see a small curved line which comes up because of the burning, and then you see a white corner which comes up onto the profile. So this can always be filled up with the same color brush, and it's good to go for transportation. Or the other way around is you can always paint manufactured windows wherein you'll never get this kind of gaps, and it's good for transportation in that case. These are the various tests that Sobel has passed. As you can see, it's 6,048 hours of artificial weathering according to the DIN standards. 3 test cycles combined, UV, temperature and humidity strain. If you closely look at the table, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it or not, but if we've used the Zovoplast 1450, which is a normal opaque color, RAL 6005 moss green color, and the gloss prior to the UV test was 22, after the UV test was 19. There was no blistering, no chipping and no cracking, and color shade change was just about 2.2%. So Sobel has kind of done quite a deep analysis in terms of testing the paints before they've launched it into the market. And this is a very good example of adhesion of Sobel paints on the PVC. Here what they've done is they've kind of heated the profile, the PVC profile up to 120 degrees, a painted profile up to 120 degrees, and then they've twisted the profile, because at 120 degrees it's easy to twist the PVC profile. So even if the profile was twisted, there was no peeling off the paint from the profile. So they've kind of tested the adhesion of the paint onto the PVC with the help of this test. This is the pull-off test just to check the adhesion of the hydro cleaner as compared to acetone, because acetone is a solvent-based product and can generally damage the UPVC surface as compared to the Sobel hydro cleaner that we supply. The test shows that as compared to acetone, it has more selective cleaning properties and therefore better adhesion of the surface coating. It's gentle but efficient cleaning, no alteration of the substrate's properties or activation of adhesion reducing substances. In the table, if you can see, we've used the Zovoplast 1450 opaque shade with the hydro cleaner, and the pull-off force was much higher as compared to what acetone was. So It was about 3.1 Newton meters as compared to acetone, which was able to pull off in just about 2.6 Newton meters. So the properties of the hydrocleaner that we recommend are much higher in terms of adhesion to the UPVC profile as compared to acetone. A very important point, Zovoplast paints, they stand up for reduced heat buildup. The paints that we are by default manufacturing in India now would include heat limiting pigments, which implies that there will be a reduced heat buildup in the window once you use the paints. If you see the table below, we've used a brown color shade called RAL 8007. Heat buildup normally was about 29 degrees, whereas in case of optimized using the paints was about 23 degrees Celsius. So there was a reduction of about 6 degrees Celsius onto the surface. Zobel passes a lot of tests, which include the abrasor tests. It includes the micro scratch test. So there are a lot of technical analysis and experiments which have been done on these paints before they've been launched into the market. US being the biggest market for Zobel at this point of time, about 20% of US windows are painted windows. So Zobel has a big share now in the US market, and India is just started. So we hope that we can do good in terms of paints in UPVC profiles in India. As you can see, in terms of optimal durability, there's no bubbling or fissuring or flaking of the paint, and it's been tested up to the DIN EN 9276 standard. This is the test certificate for the resistance to UV and xenon radiation and to moisture. It also complies with the EN standards for safety of toys, saliva and sweat resistance. For example, if you're using colored windows in residences, you might often find children licking windows. So Zovoplast Zobel paints have been tested to saliva and sweat resistant properties as well, and they do not harm. They've been tested to cleaning agents, detergents and disinfectants. That's why I mentioned earlier that they're appropriate for application in hospitals, hotels and kitchens. Basic advantages of the Zovoplast color mixing system, as I emphasized before, is reproducible colors at any point of time that you might want. Customized volumes, right from 1 liter until 20 liters, we're able to supply at any point of time. Reduced storage costs, again, and the colors are mixed within minutes and can be reproduced after years. That's the biggest advantage. Just to give you a few overview of the advantages that Zovoplast Zobel paints have. It's a one component water-based system. It's easy to use and time saving. Has unlimited colors available. Excellent adhesion, scratch and abrasion resistance. Outstanding weathering resistance. Extremely resistance against household chemicals, and it's low in consumption. Consumption is about 150 milliliters per liter. That's the consumption that we have for Zobel paints. Now, just to give you a small indication on costs, which I think is the main bone of contention why anybody would go in for paints. We've taken a small assumption. We've taken an assumption of a standard window, which is 1 square meter area. We're having a width profile of about 60 mm, which is the normal mm series that we have in India. One side coated, consumption at about 150 milliliters per square meter at 150 microns. So we've taken the worst case scenario, wherein you can go to a minimum of 70 microns, but we've taken 150 as an ideal thickness. We've also considered 50% loss of material due to overspray, because whenever you spray a profile, there is some part of the material which goes waste. So we've considered in our calculation that there's a 50% loss of material due to overspray. Price indication is about 2,000 rupees per liter. We are considering a length of a profile, a 4 meter frame and a 4 meter wing. That means an 8 meter profile per square meter window area. Now what we have done is an 8 meter profile area we've multiplied by the width of the profile, which comes to about 0.48 square meters. Then we've multiplied it with the consumption, and we've multiplied by 2, which is the factor for 50% loss on overspray, which comes to 0.144 liters. and you multiply it by the cost, comes to about 288 rupees per square meter. It's approximately about 25 to 28 rupees a square feet. So, which is a very minimal cost as you compare to the cost of a window. Similarly, if you consider in per linear meter profile assumption, the cost comes to about 36 rupees. Thank you guys, thank you for your time, and I hope it was useful. We'll be happy to assist you. Thank you so much.
Can I take a quick question for Mr. Ashim, if there's any questions on the floor? Fantastic. Ashim is here for the day, and we have a stall as well. More than happy to see you there. Thank you, Mr. Ashim.